So I just want to thank everybody for being here, and I'm going to actually ask you guys to introduce yourself, and I'll start. And I am Scott, and I am from Oregon, and Lynda Hanberry,
Lynda Hanberry from Mississippi.
and Bonnie Teeples.
I'm Bonnie, and I'm from Oregon.
Yeah, she's also our new national president. And I got I got another Linda from Linda from I think Oregon.
Mm,
This is Linda from Kansas.
Kansas, right.
Okay. Oh, I got that Linda. There we go. And Eleanor. I don't know if Eleanor is on there or not. And Anne Engen.
Yes,
You want to
I'm
introduce yourself?
here. I'm Ann Engen and I live in Oregon.
Okay. And Marja
I'm Marcia, and I live in Oregon.
and Sandy
I'm Sandy. I live in Oregon.
and Faye.
I am from Kansas.
Okay. And Barbara.
Barbara Thomas from Alaska.
Well, welcome. And we got Nathan, and let me get this right. It's Lena. Is that
Lena
correct? Okay. You want
from
to introduce
Alaska.
yourself? All right. Who'd I miss? Anybody I
Oh,
miss? All right. I'm going to turn the time over to Lynda Nyseth. Lynda is, and I'll let her introduce herself. And she's going to go. I'm going to actually be running the PowerPoint when she tells me to bring it up. She gets to be my bosser around her today. So I'm actually going to spotlight her. So you're up.
Oh, there I am. Bigger than life. I'm Lynda Nyseth from Amity, Oregon, and I did this lesson at the state conference with Ann Engen. So she might want to pop in and do any comments as we're going along. Ann did most of the research. She did a lot of reading and talked with doctors, and I just did some of the looking up on online to find out some of the information, but Anne did most of the work. So anyhow, we're going to talk about our marvelous liver today and the functions that it does in our life. So I'd like to ask you first, well, it says any animal with a backbone has a liver. And how much do you think that human's liver weighs? Any suggestions there?
3 to 5 pounds.
The picture is going to be on the dollar bill. They're leaving the airport in Palm Beach.
Yes, the liver is a little over 3 pounds, 3.3 pounds. And I've got this package of sugar. So your liver is about this. This is a 4-pound package of sugar. So your liver is almost this size in your body. It is shaped in a size or shape of a football, and it sits right above your stomach. And like I said, it weighs about 3.3 pounds. So thinking of our liver and how much it weighs, and now I have sugar all over my desk. How much do you think a blue whale's liver would be?
800 pounds.
Any other guesses? It's 1,980 pounds. So
Well,
getting
I wasn't
close
even
to
close.
2,000 pounds. Right, Scott, you were close.
I said I wasn't close.
Oh, you weren't that close, right? 500, you said? So the liver is a multitasker and it carries on many functions in our, or many tasks in our body. Do you know how many it might do? Anne said it's more than the number of fingers and toes.
11.
11, huh? Well, actually, our liver carries on 500 tasks. And so we're going to talk about some of those tasks today. When Anne and I did the lesson, we made some puppets out of our, a picture of the liver, Gabby Gallbladder and Peter Pancreas, because they also play a part in our study with the liver. And so we took turns. So you can do that. If you present this lesson to somebody, you might want to make the puppets and have somebody help you with your lesson. And this lesson is on our website for the state conference. So you'll have all the information there. So like I said, our liver does does 500 tasks. It's the largest internal organ in our body, and it is also a gland because it secretes hormones and other chemicals. Our liver produces bile and a fluid that helps neutralize stomach acid so it can digest the fats and carry away waste. Our liver produces or processes the medicine that you take into a form that your body can use. It converts foods into nutrients, stores vitamins and minerals. It cleans and filters all the blood in your body, removing toxins, bacteria, and cellular waste. The liver breaks down poisonous substances such as alcohol and drugs, and it never sends you a bill. Isn't that amazing? So let's look at the picture that we have on our PowerPoint then, Scott.
Okay.
Please.
Which one do you want? This one or that one?
Okay, this one here looks good. So here we see the liver and its shape, and it's divided into the left liver and the right lobe of the liver. And each of these consists of 4 lobes, which have 8 sections. Let's see, have 8 sections, which have thousands of little busy lobes in them. And so you're walking around with a chemical factory in your body. So we see here the liver, and then the gallbladder is that little green bulb tucked under the liver. And then the next slide shows also the pancreas, and it sits behind the stomach, and the stomach is just that little faded, white or blue thing in front of the pancreas. And you can see then on the, on the side where it fits on the stomach and on the intestines. So how many gallons of blood do you think that your liver processes every day? Any guesses on that?
500.
500. That's a little bit high. 250 gallons of blood. And most of the cholesterol in your body is made, no, most of the cholesterol in your body is made by your liver from saturated fats in foods you've eaten, such as red meat and whole milk products. So we're going to talk about some of the problem signs. So if we want to go to the next slide. So if you notice some of these signs, they might be something that you should go and see your doctor about and ask him. The first sign is a stubborn weight gain. Maybe you're eating the right healthy things and exercising, and yet you're still gaining weight, this could be a problem with your liver. Because when your liver is overworked, your metabolism can slow down. This can lead to stubborn excess pounds, especially in your abdomen. Another sign would be fatigue. When your liver becomes sluggish, it can make you feel tired. Your liver is in charge of filtering out harmful toxins from your body. When your liver is overworked, it becomes less effective at moving these toxins. And this can lead to toxin buildup and feeling tired often. Another problem sign could be skin that itches. We don't really associate itching skin with a liver function, but it could be a sign of liver damage. And you don't even notice where it's itching. You can't see any signs of it, but you're always itching some part of the body, and there's no redness or signs that there should be an itch there, no signs of bites or anything. And the itching sensation can even continue after scratching, and it can be very uncomfortable and disturb your sleep. Another sign is feeling confused. This goes back to the toxic buildups that occur in your liver when it's overworked. Too many toxins negatively affect your health, your brain health, leading to feelings of confusion. Another sign is swelling or pain in the upper belly. Your liver is found on the upper right quadrant of your abdomen, and swelling or pain in that area may be signs of liver damage. And if you're dealing with that, then make sure to have that checked out by your doctor. And so the next slide, we'll talk about some food tips to boost your liver health and why it's critical. Our liver plays a vital role in your overall health and well-being. As we said before, it's where it does over 500 life-sustaining tasks and functions every day. When your liver becomes sluggish or overworked, that can have disastrous consequences on your health. So here's 5 quick food tips that might help your waistline to trim it and promote a healthy weight. So it said ditch the refined carbs. So whole grains, instead of whole grains and gluten-free bread, pasta lovers could use veggie or legume-based pastas as healthier options. And I know my daughter-in-law does a lot of the zucchini noodles and uses those for her pasta things. Minimize the intake of sugar and artificial sweeteners as much as possible, because these are like poison to your liver. Eat more fruits and veggies and fermented foods. And keep food consumption to 2 to 3 servings of lean grass-fed meat per week. Eat wild-caught fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week and more pasture-raised eggs. And while these food tips are a great start to boosting your liver health, they may not be enough. Depending on your situation, food may not even be the best way to improve your liver health. Then there also is liver diseases. So we'll see the next slide. And some of the liver diseases, this is a term that refers to a number of conditions that can damage your liver. It could be viruses, drugs, too much alcohol, inherited diseases, hepatitis A, B, C, or fatty liver disease, and psoriasis. The alphabet hepatitis is explained like this. Hepatitis A is found in feces of infected people. Hepatitis B is a virus causing inflammation of the liver. The scarring called cirrhosis. A hepatitis B lifetime vaccine is required for all American children, and hepatitis B is more likely to be transmitted through sexual activity. It's more infectious than HIV. Hepatitis C is transmitted through contact with an infected person's blood, such as can happen with drug users or getting body piercings. It's rarely transmitted sexually, but more likely to become chronic. It progresses slowly for many years before it causes liver damage. And the virus used to be spread through blood transfusions, but for 33 years, donors' blood has been screened for hepatitis C. Then there's a hepatitis E. It's extremely rare in our country, but if you visit countries with poor sanitation systems, make sure you drink bottled water and avoid ice cubes. A healthy liver is essential to your overall health. And I don't know if you've heard of fatty liver disease, but doctors don't know exactly why some people have felt fat buildup in their liver, even if they're not heavy alcoholic drinkers. Nearly 1 in 4 people who have excess fat in their livers will go on to develop a serious disease known as NASH, non-alcoholic hepatitis. Fatty liver disease is common among people of Hispanic descent. And liver cancer, rarely do cancers originate in your liver, but about 1/3 of all cancers spread to the liver. The outcome is poor. Liver cancer is twice as common in men than women. Another liver disease is Wilson's disease. You have to inherit this regressive gene. What happens is you have excess amounts of copper building up in your brain or liver because your liver cannot release that copper. The mineral is in many foods and is essential to our bodies in small amounts. If you have Wilson's disease, your liver keeps the copper, and over time it produces tremors in your arms and hands, damages your kidneys, brains, and eyes, and a doctor can diagnose this disease, treat you with zinc, which blocks the absorption of copper. And now we want to meet our neighbors, our liver neighbors, so we understand how they all work together. So the next slide talks about our gallbladder. And if I had my puppet and Anne was working with me, we'd have Gabby Gallbladder here. And so under our liver is our gallbladder. It's the pear-shaped muscular sac-like organ that rests inside the lower right lobe of your liver to absorb water and store bile. And then Peter Pancreas is a long, soft, irregular gland that hides just below the lower part of your stomach. It produces enzymes that move through the pancreatic duct to break down fats, proteins, and carbs. The liver, gallbladder, and pancreas are not considered organs of the digestive system, but they enable your body to use nutrients for energy. They are mighty good neighbors. Remember, bile is a liquid created in the liver to neutralize stomach acid and break down fats. Bile ducts are small channels that carry bile from your liver to your gallbladder. And you might notice people that their skin is turned a shade of yellow-green and the whites of their eyes are yellow. And this is results from excess bilirubin in your blood. Jaundice occurs as a result of liver hepatitis disease or blockage of the bile duct or a medication. Normally, how it works, the liver filters the dead red blood cells from the bloodstreams and sends them down the bile ducts to the gallbladder. From there, the dead blood cells flow into your small intestine, where most are eaten by bacteria. So in review of this, we've talked about where our liver is located, the gallbladder and the pancreas. And the liver weighs a little over 3 pounds and has mainly 2 main lobes and all the functions that our liver has done. So other functions then on the next slide. Other functions that the liver does is production of certain proteins for blood plasma, production of cholesterol and special proteins to help carry fats through the body, conversion of excess glucose into glycogen for storage, and to balance and make glucose as needed. Regulation of blood levels of amino acids, which form the building blocks of proteins. Processing of hemoglobin for use of its iron content. The liver stores iron. Conversion of poisonous ammonia to urea, and the urea is the end product of protein metabolism and is excreted in the urine. Next slide. I have word problems with lots of these words because I'm not medically inclined here. Cleaning the blood of drugs and other poisonous substance. It regulates blood clotting, resists infection by making immune factors and removing bacteria from the bloodstream. Clearance of bilirubin also from red blood cells. If there is an accumulation of bilirubin, the skin and eyes turn yellow. And among all these functions, it is capable of regenerating. So under liver transplants, your liver is the only organ with the ability to regenerate. If you lost 3/4 of your liver in a terrible accident, your liver would grow back within a few weeks.
Oh, wow.
The liver was one of the first organs to be transplanted, and it's the second most transplanted organ in the world. First place is the kidney. A liver transplant is a life-saving gift. Get approved for a transplant. If you don't have a living donor willing to share with you, get on a national waiting list. The state where it's easiest to get a liver transplant is Florida, which has more deceased donors. The life expectancy after a transplant is more than 10 years and can be as many as 20 years or more. And somebody asked, why is Florida the best place for, has more deceased donors? And we said, well, that's because, and maybe it was Anne that said this, because that's where people go to retire. And so they're older and their life is closer to the end. Okay, so then I guess we have one last slide there of all of the liver, and so you can see all the little ducts or veins in there, and where all of the pancreas and the gallbladder is located. And so does anybody have any questions that maybe Anne could answer? In your lesson, we have a quiz, and you could do it first or last, whichever you would like to do, or not at all. And also, I like doing word problems, and so I also did quiz for everybody on taking the words healthy liver and making as many words as you could from that. If any letter is used more than once, you can use it twice in a word, if you're familiar with playing that game. And so I divided it up and tried to get people to write down 5 words for each of the letters. And I tell you, when I went to find 5 words starting with Y, or yeah, starting with Y, I had problems. But finally I came up with some. And the last one that I really had problems with and really went to searching, and it was YELT. Do you know what that means or what that is? YELT is yelt, a young sow, a female pig. You can tell I'm a farmer. So that's all I have for this lesson. I don't know if you have any questions or comments or anything that I could or could not answer.
So one thing I've always thought interesting when you gave this before and you mentioned it today was the liver is one of the few organs that will reproduce itself, or so you can actually
Right.
donate part of your liver and the rest of it will grow back.
Within just a few weeks too, which is
Yeah.
amazing. And
That's
did you
why we
have any?
call it grows back because it's busy.
There you go.
So any questions or comments or anything?
In 1996, my
interesting.
mother was diagnosed with cancer of the gallbladder. And it was so advanced that it also migrated into the liver. At that point, cancer of the gallbladder was the most common cancer of women in their 70s.
Huh.
She had been complaining of problems in her back, her chest, and they kept putting her off, like, oh, it's female problems, or oh, maybe it's pneumonia, or oh, you're just making that up. But they would take a chest x-ray for the lungs, but never explored it further down in the abdomen to check out the other organs.
Uh-huh.
I thought of 3 words that start with a Y that sort of go with this is yellow and yawn and yolk.
There you go. Uh-huh.
Good job.
I didn't have any of those on my list.
Yeah, because you get the yellow skin and you yawn because you're fatigued, and the egg yolk, I'm sure, is whether that's the good or the bad.
Right.
And the yelk you said was the pig, so I'm sure having too much pork. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Well, thank you, Lynda. I really appreciate you doing this. It was probably a little more fun when they did it in person because they had little puppets and they played some little games and gave out the little quiz and the word names and so forth. But I appreciate you doing the lesson today on that and your time. And I appreciate everybody that shows up. I'm getting a little nervous about getting presenters and participants, and every time I get ready to just pull the plug on it, something positive happens, and I see people even there from Tennessee in there today. So, and by the way, so right now we actually, if you figured out, we got actually we got 6 states here represented. I've got actually 16 people on, and that's wonderful. I just want to tell you that next month is going to be on it's going to be, I gotta look down here. It's Eleanor from Washington, and I think it's things I've learned or something like that. I can't. I don't have it right here. It's when I send out the email, it's on there. So it'll be a wonderful one there. I'm always looking for presenters. You do not have to be a professional. We're all amateurs striving for perfection, for perfection. And so I have some up there. I need anybody from August on. So if you want to volunteer, just contact me. And all my information is on the email that I sent out to you. Any questions or comments by anybody?
Linda and Ann, that was a wonderful lesson. Makes you really think,
Right.
really get your
Mhm.
brain cells going.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
these are these have all been recorded. This is actually our boy, 5 years, 60. So this is our 64th, I think. And we started back in COVID and we just keep going. So you can actually go watch these again and see the others.
Mhm.
All right, I don't have anything else unless somebody's got some questions or comments. Now I'm going to stop
Oh.
the recording and you guys can just visit and nobody will listen to you or nobody will
Bye.